Here's more wrestling news for May 25th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include: WWE is planning to call more NXT talent up to the main roster. Is WWE putting an end to the charisma of AJ Styles? Finn Balor wants to make WWE main roster return. Kenny Omega drags Jim Ross after saying Randy Orton is better than him. Controversial WWE talent who was fired recently is back. Why is MJF angry? Enzo Amore provides health update after scary incident over the weekend. Tony Khan's great gesture donated $10,000. Lio Rush is back and working for WWE again, and more. We're kicking off with WWE, who called up Rick Boogs to the main roster as the lead guitarist for Shinsuke Nakamura, and now more names could be moving away from NXT. According to Fightful Select, WWE is about to make some room in NXT by calling up names to the main roster, and that'll include calling up talent from NXT and NXT UK. It's interesting that WWE feels the need for these call-ups, especially after the recent releases, which saw a total 8 names be let go from the Gold brand. It was reported that talent in NXT have been speculating among themselves in recent weeks about who will get called up next, and although we know multiple call-ups are planned, it's unclear exactly how many we're talking about. At WrestleMania 37, AJ Styles not only became a Raw Tag Team Champion, but a WWE Grand Slam Champion, an impressive feat just 5 years after his 2016 debut. Styles' most iconic title reigns have been his 2 WWE Championship reigns between 2016 and 2018, and it's safe to say that his time as Raw Tag Team Champion has been the worst. That's no fault of Styles, but more to do with the mishandling of him and the overall apathy shown to the Raw Tag Team division. Fans are left wondering, where are the Viking Raiders, who just recently returned and vanished again, and why is Styles feuding with Elias and losing to Jackson Ryker of all people, as we saw in last night's Raw? It seems like a face turn for Styles and Omos is imminent, and that's probably for the best, as there needs to be a more serious way to handle them as champions. Their title run post-WrestleMania has been disappointing to watch, and after 2 years as a heel, a face run for the Phenomenal One and a better storyline could fix a lot of problems. One person Styles could soon be facing is Finn Balor, who had an impressive start on Raw in 2016 before he returned to NXT 3 years later. While speaking to Out of Character, Balor discussed his main roster run and the possibility that he could return, saying, "Absolutely, the idea of returning to the main roster interests me. I feel like in my last run there I wasn't doing myself justice. I needed to change something, and I went to NXT and found out who I was again, and I managed to do that to some level, and I'm hopeful at some level that Raw or SmackDown will happen in the future." Tonight, Balor will look to become the first ever 3-time NXT champion when he faces reigning champion Karrion Kross. But if unsuccessful, then fans may soon see the Prince back on either Raw or SmackDown. Balor is doing far better than Keith Lee, who continues to be missing from TV since February, with a recent rumor circulating that he'd been released. Those reports have since been debunked, but given that it's been nearly 4 months since he last appeared, there's been speculation on what's happening with the former NXT champion. It was reported that Lee wasn't cleared by WWE to compete, though we don't know if they've since cleared him, and on Twitter this week, the Limitless One thanked fans for all their support and said that he will explain everything if they give him a little more time. Time is something Lee is running out of, as the longer he's away from the ring, the more fans give up on the hopes of a main event push for the Limitless One. Fans have been eager to see Lee back on Raw for months now, though many have reached their limit, and what the future holds for the Limitless One is unknown at this time. Now, as the AEW World Champion, Impact Wrestling Champion, and AAA Mega Champion, Kenny Omega has every right to be considered the greatest wrestler competing today, as his high work rate speaks for itself. Recently, Chris Jericho referred to the Cleaner as the best in the world, and now Omega has responded to Jericho's praise with some serious sarcasm, as he said, "Meh, I'd rather believe the bigot cuck, dimwit E-Drones, and the guy that thinks I'm the WWE Champion." There's a lot to unpack in this response, as the dimwit E-Drones is seemingly a reference to the fans, whilst his first comment is referencing Jim Cornette, a known critic of Omega who reportedly watched trainees have sex with his wife and gave them pushes in OVW. The guy that thinks I'm WWE champion is in reference to Jim Ross, who once mistakenly referenced as such, and recently said that Randy Orton is the best wrestler in the world. Omega is very happy in his spot right now and has every reason to be, but with 3 title defenses set up between now and August, we'll have to see how many championships the belt collector is able to keep. Last week, WWE fired controversial referee Drake Wuertz after months of him making unfounded claims related to debunked QAnon conspiracy theories about masks and the ongoing situation. Not long after his release, it was reported that Wuertz was contacting people and looking for work, and it didn't take him long to find a booking. The former referee, who is now Drake Younger again, posted on Instagram that he's getting back in the ring on June 26th in Orlando on a show that also features Low Ki and Matt Morgan. The money for the event is going to Operation Underground Railroad, an organization that claims to stop child trafficking, a problem that Wuertz claimed was made worse by recent mask mandates. Before joining WWE, Younger competed as a deathmatch wrestler, and though we don't know who he'll be facing in June, we imagine he'll get quite the reaction from the crowd. Now, the world is a complicated place where, sadly, not everyone is accepting of other religions, and as of late, there's been an unsettling amount of anti-Semitic rhetoric and violence towards Jewish people. AEW's MJF is sick of that trend, and on Twitter, he addressed hate crimes against Jewish people, saying it's unacceptable that people in 2021 are still being attacked in the streets for being Jewish. MJF, who added that he's a proud Jewish person, said anyone who has a problem with Jewish people should try messing with him. This isn't the first time MJF has spoken about anti-Jewish sentiment, as he once discussed that players on his high school football team were angry about losing their spot to a Jewish kid, and that motivated MJF to succeed in life, something the massively successful wrestler has clearly done. Over the weekend, Enzo Amore was rushed to the hospital after a DDT outside the ring at an indie show knocked him out cold. Competing for SWE, the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion was taken to a hospital after a DDT on the concrete floor, which caused the match to be immediately stopped, and he's now commented on his condition. In a video where Amore is wearing a neck brace, the former superstar remained in good spirits, despite the circumstances. He said, "I'm out of the hospital now, but I'm sure you read the headlines. Enzo Amore DDT'd on concrete at SWE Fury show by Ivan Warsaw. Well, I would like to thank the fans for their prayers. Pennies from heaven is what I call them. But if we're talking change, let me tell you something. If I had a dime for every time I got knocked out and didn't get back up, I would have 0 dimes. We'll have to see what Enzo does next, as there's speculation that he'll one day join Big Cass, now W. Morrissey, in Impact Wrestling. But for now, the Certified G isn't letting this injury scare get him down. AEW news next, and Cesar Bononi has recently pleaded for help as his wife Camilla is battling leukemia, and AEW's president Tony Khan has stepped up in a major way. On the GoFundMe for Camilla, Khan donated a total $10,000, and other large donations include $1,000 from Cody Rhodes and $300 each from Lance Archer and Colt Cabana. Several other AEW wrestlers and personalities donated to the cause, and we're sending our best wishes to Cesar and Camilla at this time. And we're ending with some video game news, as WWE 2K22 is set to hit shelves this year after the franchise took a year off following the disastrous 2K20. 2K Games is hard at work trying to get things right, and it turns out they have former WWE superstar Lio Rush giving them a hand, as he's been doing motion capture for the game. Rush confirmed his involvement in the game on Twitter when fans questioned him about it, and there's been 4,800 new animations for the game, according to developer Patrick Gilmore. Rush was released back in April 2020 alongside several names, all cited by WWE as budget cuts, and whilst he's since returned to wrestling and is currently working for MLW, the fact that he's working with 2K does make us wonder if a WWE return is imminent for the former Cruiserweight Champion.